My name is Rachel Morgan, 34 years old. Right now, I'm staring at a glowing computer screen that just turned my entire world upside down. The words don't make sense at first. They swim, blur, smudge against my tired eyes like a bad joke. Clear your desk by the end of the day, Rachel. Human resources will handle the exit paperwork. I blink. Once, twice, no, it doesn't change. 3 days, that's all I took. 3 days to bury my father, not a vacation, not some spa retreat or a sunny beach escape. Just 3 days of approved bereavement leave, so I could mourn the man who raised me. And this email is what I come back to. So before you listen, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments. Now, let's ease into the story together. The office is still quiet. The Boise sun is just beginning to cut through the blinds. I came in early, thought I'd get a jump on things, catch up from being out. Funny how eager I was. My name is Rachel Morgan. Until about 2 minutes ago, I was the regional team lead at Orion Freight Systems, overseeing our highest performing logistics division. 5 years. 5 long, dedicated, back-breaking, number-crunching, team-building years. Now, according to a faceless email from Scott Delaney, my direct supervisor, I am no longer needed. The reason? Failure to maintain adequate presence during critical operational periods. In other words, my father had the audacity to die during a busy season. The same Scott who approved my leave, the same one who sent condolences. That email arrived with the subject line, "Final notice, employment termination." I don't cry, not now. That part of me has been squeezed dry. I don't yell either. There's no drama in my goodbye. Instead, I do what my dad always taught me, be steady, like the rocks in the river. So I quietly pull out my phone, snap a photo of the email, and forward it to my personal account. Then I shut down my work computer, unplug the monitor, and open the bottom drawer of my desk. My little cactus is still there, the one my team gave me last Christmas, decorated with a tiny Santa hat. A framed picture of our crew at last year's retreat. Post-it notes with hand-drawn doodles from Grace, our project analyst. They fit easily in a cardboard box. 5 years of my life, packed up in silence. Elise from accounting walks in first. She sees me wrapping the cactus and immediately pauses. "Rachel, what's going on?" I don't soften it. There's no point. They let me go. Her mouth drops open. "What? Why?" Apparently, attending my father's funeral didn't show proper work priorities. Her face twists with disbelief and something else, anger. "Have you talked to Joanne about this?" she asks. "She should know, this isn't right." "No," I say, keeping my hands busy with the bubble wrap. "I'm not going to fight it, but I won't forget it either." It's the kind of betrayal that doesn't make you want to scream. It makes you want to go very, very quiet. By the time Trevor shows up, my lead analyst and closest ally, my desk is almost empty. He sees the box and immediately stiffens. "No way," he mutters, dropping his messenger bag. "This is bull. What the hell, Rachel?" "It's done," I interrupt softly. "Scott made his decision." "But we just finished the Rockridge merger. We're up 18% in quarterly performance." I nod slowly. Apparently, that wasn't enough. Soon the others begin arriving. Marissa, Ben, Lucy, Dana, Grace, Aaron, my core team, my people. They stop by my desk one by one. None of them ask what happened. They see it in my face. Marissa starts crying. Ben looks like he might punch the filing cabinet. The rest hover nearby, eyes wide, mouths tight, not knowing whether to speak or scream. "You can't leave now," Marissa insists, her voice shaky. "We're mid-negotiation on the Mansfield account. No one else knows the system like you." I place the cactus on top of the stack and tape the box shut. Scott should have thought of that before firing me. My voice doesn't shake, but it's not steady either. I feel like I'm holding a dam inside. Then the silence cracks. "Everyone back to your desks," barks a familiar voice behind us. We all turn. It's Scott. His arms are crossed, his narrow face puckered like he just tasted something sour. "We have deadlines to meet." "No one moves," I said now. Reluctantly, my team returns to their workstations, shooting glances over their shoulders as they go. I stay standing, box in hand. Scott walks up to me, lowering his voice. This could have been handled with more discretion. I meet his eyes. Like how you discreetly fired me via email after approving my bereavement leave? He shifts, his jaw clenches. Business needs change rapidly. We need team leads who understand that. My father died, Scott. I dare you to finish whatever sentence you were about to say. For a flicker, I see fear in his eyes. Human Resources is expecting you, he said finally. Let's keep this professional. I nod. Don't worry, I won't make a scene. But I do leave him with one last thing. Remember this moment, Scott. You might need it later. With my box tucked under my arm, I head to HR, feeling more weight in my chest than in my hands. The HR office at Orion Freight Systems feels like a dentist's waiting room. White walls, too bright lighting, the faint smell of recycled air, and manufactured sympathy. The nameplate on the desk reads, Melissa Blake. She's new. I remember seeing her around 6 months ago, always walking fast, always polite. Today she looks like she wishes she were anywhere else. Hi, Rachel, she said, standing quickly. Please come in. I'm really sorry about this. I nod and sit down, carefully placing my box on the floor next to the chair. And I'm very sorry to hear about your father. There's sincerity in her voice, but also hesitation, like she's not sure what part of the script to follow next. She slides a manila folder across the desk. Here are your separation papers. It's a standard severance, 2 weeks' pay, a non-disparagement clause, and a reminder of your non-compete agreement. I open the folder. The papers are all there, printed in small, dense type. The non-compete clause jumps out at me like a snake. 6 months, 300-mile radius. Can't work for any direct competitors. I raise an eyebrow. Melissa shifts in her seat. I know it's a lot. Is there anything I should know? This seems abrupt. I hesitate for a moment, unsure how much I want to say. Then I take out my phone and hand it to her. She reads the email from Scott. Her eyebrows rise, her lips part slightly. This is the actual termination notice, she asks. Just this? I nod. 3 days of approved leave. That's it. No warnings, no conversations, no performance reviews or documentation. Nothing. Melissa frowns deeply. She pulls out a legal pad and starts scribbling something down. Would you excuse me for a moment, she said, and leaves the room, folder in hand. While she's gone, I glance out the narrow window. From this floor, I can see the Boise River, glinting silver in the morning light, winding between the city's buildings and trees. It's calm today, slow, steady. My dad used to fish there. Every Sunday morning before church, we'd pull on our waders and stand side by side in the cold current. The river moves, Rachel, he'd say, but the rocks stay steady. That memory settles me like a hand on my shoulder. Melissa comes back 20 minutes later, her face carefully neutral, but her tight-lipped smile tells me all I need to know. She sits down slowly. Unfortunately, she begins, Idaho is an at-will employment state. The company is within its rights to... I understand, I interrupt. My voice is calm. Orion Freight can do whatever it wants, just like I can. She pauses, then lowers her voice. Off the record, this isn't right. If you wanted to pursue legal action... I don't, I say quickly, but thank you. Melissa nods slowly. She seems almost relieved. And just like that, it's over. No party, no goodbye email, no handshake from leadership. After 5 years, I get 2 weeks' pay and a warning not to speak poorly about the company. My badge is disabled before I leave the building. I walk out into the September sun, my cardboard box balanced against my hip. It's warmer than I expected. I reach my car, open the trunk, and set the box down gently. Then I slide into the driver's seat and close the door. For the first time all morning, I let myself breathe. I don't cry. Instead, I sit in silence as the dashboard clock ticks forward. 1 minute, 2. Then my phone buzzes. A message from Trevor. This is wrong. What can we do? Another from Marissa. Are you okay? Can we meet up later? Ben. Scott's a spineless jerk. We're all furious. More messages pour in. Dana, Grace, Lucy, Aaron. All asking if I'm all right. expressing anger and disbelief. My team, my people, not just coworkers, but a little second family I'd built over the years. They're still there, and they're not quiet about it. I scroll through the texts, my heart aching and full at the same time. Then the phone rings. I freeze when I see the caller ID, Marcus Reed, CEO of Nova Transit, one of Orion's biggest competitors. We'd met at an industry conference last year, shared drinks and mutual frustration about how freight companies treated talent like it was disposable. He'd been trying to recruit me ever since. I let it ring twice, then I answer. Marcus? I heard, he said without preamble. Rachel, I'm sorry. I exhale, finally letting the tension out of my lungs. Word travels fast. It does, he said. But this is beyond corporate coldness. This is cruelty. I don't reply. I don't need to. He continues. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I want you on our team. Even with the non-compete? Our legal team's already looked at it. It's vague and overly broad. And frankly, we're prepared to fight it if Orion tries anything. We'll cover all legal fees. I pause. You're serious? Completely. I'm offering you the division director role for the Pacific Northwest expansion. It's yours if you want it. My heart thuds. It's more responsibility than I've had before. Higher pay, more autonomy, a direct line to the executive team. And maybe a chance to rebuild what I lost. Better this time. I need to think, I say. Of course, Marcus replies. Take the weekend. Let's talk specifics Monday. When I hang up, I stare at the windshield, stunned. I'm not someone who believes in perfect timing, but sometimes, when the river rushes too fast, the rocks underneath get revealed. As I start the car and pull out of the parking lot, my mind isn't on what I've lost. It's on what I might build next. That night, I meet up with Trevor and Marissa at a little hole-in-the-wall pub called Riverside Brewing, just off the main drag, tucked away enough to avoid bumping into anyone from Orion Freight. It's the kind of place with dim lighting, cracked leather booths, and the kind of silence that said, yeah, you can say what you really feel here. They're already seated when I walk in, nursing half-empty pints with stiff shoulders and tight jaws. Trevor spots me first. There she is, he said, standing to hug me. You holding up? I nod, sliding into the booth across from them. I'm okay, mostly numb, which feels better than rage, I think. Marissa leans forward, eyes wide with worry. Rachel, what they did was so beyond wrong. The whole office is in shock. Trevor adds, Scott's already scrambling. People don't know where anything is. Files, access, templates. You were the brains of the whole division. I give a half-hearted smile. Sounds like a Scott problem. But inside, I'll admit, there's a flicker of satisfaction, not revenge, just validation. Marissa's voice drops. It's more than that. People are talking, loudly. Joanne's been pacing the halls like a ghost. She even asked Elise today if you were planning to take legal action. That surprises me. I told HR I wouldn't. I meant it. Trevor shrugs. Even so, the way it looks, it's not good. You were our top lead, and they just dropped you, like you didn't matter. They sent an email, I say flatly, 3 sentences, after 5 years. There's a silence as we all let that sink in. Finally, Marissa speaks again. Have you thought about what's next? I sip my water, thinking carefully. Actually, yes. I got a call from Marcus Reed, at Nova Transit. Their eyes widen in perfect unison. No way, Trevor breathes. Marissa's jaw drops. They've been poaching Orion people for months. I know, and he's been after me since that logistics summit last year. I never took it seriously until now. What did he offer? Division director, full autonomy, better salary, and they're ready to fight the non-compete if needed. Trevor whistles. That's a huge step up. Are you going to take it? Marissa asks, eyes bright with hope or fear, maybe both. I'm considering it, I say honestly. But if I go alone. The non-compete is a gray area. I'm not putting anyone at risk. She and Trevor exchange a glance. Then Marissa leans in, voice low. Rachel, none of us feel safe anymore. If they could do this to you, what happens to the rest of us? They sent a message, loud and clear. Trevor nods. The team's fractured. Scott's trying to paper over it, but morale's nosediving. Dana said even Grace was crying at her desk. I blink at that. Grace never cries. Ever. She said you were the only reason she stayed this long, Trevor adds. I'm not going to start a war, I say, but I'm not going to disappear either. Another silence, a longer one. Then Marissa clears her throat. If, hypothetically, you went to Nova, would they be hiring? My eyes snap to hers. Trevor shrugs, hypothetically. I smile slowly. I can't promise anything, but I could make a few introductions. They nod, and for a second, something flickers in the air between us. Not just defiance, alignment, like tectonic plates beginning to shift. That night, I lie awake longer than usual. I think about the years I poured into Orion, the loyalty, the weekends, the late nights. I also think about the way Scott looked at me that morning, like I was a nuisance, like he'd just taken out the trash. I think about my team, crying, pacing, texting, breaking rank in little ways. And I think about Marcus's voice on the phone, steady, serious, offering not just a job but a space to build something again. By midnight, I know I'm not going back. Not to Orion, not to begging, not to justifying my humanity. I'll take the risk, and maybe I won't be alone. The next morning, my phone lights up with notifications before I'm even out of bed. Texts from Lucy, from Dana, from Grace. All saying the same thing in different ways. We're done here. They're still looking for the Mansfield analysis files. Joanne just asked if I'd consider stepping into your role. Then this one from Ben. Do you have room for 7 more? I don't respond right away. Instead, I sit there in the half-light of early morning, a warm cup of coffee between my hands, and think about what it means to be a leader. It's not about having your name on the door or sitting at the head of a table. It's about the people who'd rather follow you into the unknown than stay where they are. Monday morning dawns with a thin layer of fog clinging to the city, like the sky itself is trying to stay quiet. I'm dressed in the kind of blazer that means business, but doesn't scream desperation. As I pull into the parking lot at Nova Transit, my stomach does a little flip. Not nerves exactly, just anticipation. I've barely turned off the engine when my phone buzzes. It's Marcus. You still thinking, or are we shaking hands today? He said as soon as I pick up. I smile, staring at the clean glass windows of the building that already feels more like home than the one I left. I'm in, I say. Let's talk details. 15 minutes later, I'm sitting in a sunlit conference room on the 11th floor. The walls aren't adorned with meaningless platitudes like synergy happens here or push past the pain. Instead, there's a giant map of the Pacific Northwest, with strategic zones outlined in different colors. It's not just decoration, it's direction. Marcus steps in, tall and confident, but there's nothing performative about his energy. He doesn't posture, he listens. He's been in the trenches too long to waste time on image. I knew you'd call, he said, handing me a folder with the offer letter. I didn't think it would be under quite these circumstances, I admit. Neither did I, but if there's one thing corporate logistics teaches you, it's how fast things can shift. You're not the only one who's been burned by Orion. I nod. They didn't just fire me, Marcus. They erased me. No warning, no meeting, just an email. He grimaces. That's not leadership. That's fear in a tie. Then he shifts tone. Let me walk you through the position. You'd be heading the Pacific Northwest Division, Seattle, Portland, Boise, and expanding into Spokane by Q2 next year. You'd have full hiring power and direct influence over workflow design. And the non-compete? Our legal counsel already reviewed it. It's practically a paper tiger, too broad and unenforceable under Idaho labor law, especially given how they terminated you. But if they do try to raise a fuss, we've got your back. We'll absorb any legal blowback. I sit with that for a moment. Then I ask the most important question. Will I have room to build a team? His eyes glint. I was hoping you'd ask that. That afternoon, I drive home with the signed offer letter on the seat beside me. It's official. I'm not just landing on my feet. I'm building new ground. By evening, I've texted Trevor and Marissa. It's a go. I'm in. Let's meet tonight. We meet again at Riverside Brewing, our new war room of sorts. This time, the table fills up fast. Ben arrives next, then Lucy. Dana, Grace, and Aaron trail in behind, some with laptop bags, some with resignation already written on their faces. "We all talked," Dana said, sliding into the booth. "We're ready." I hold up a hand. "Before anyone jumps ship, understand this. I can't guarantee anything. Nova will require formal applications, background checks, proper channels." Ben shrugs. "We don't care. We're not staying at Orion. Not after what they did to you. Not after how they've treated us since." Grace adds, "Joanne pulled me into a meeting today to offer me your job. Like I'd betray everything you taught us." Aaron chimes in. "And Scott's holding emergency meetings every morning now, barking orders and trying to motivate us with donuts and panic." We all laugh, but the truth behind it is bitter. "I spoke to Marcus," I say quietly. "He's open to considering everyone, but you'll have to go through the process." "We already started," Lucy said, pulling out a stack of printed confirmation emails. "We applied yesterday." "All 7, already applied, already preparing." I sit back, a wave of something heavy and incredible moving through me, not just relief. Loyalty. These weren't just good employees, they were brilliant. They had become architects of their own futures, not pawns in someone else's chess game. Then my phone buzzes, a message from Joanne. "Would you be available to meet this week regarding your termination? Please let me know." I don't reply, not yet. Instead, I look around the table, seeing all their faces, tired, angry, hopeful. "This is bigger than me now," I say. Trevor raises his glass. "To starting over?" Marissa clinks hers gently. "To doing it the right way this time." We toast, quietly but with conviction. And for the first time since I opened that horrible email, I feel peace. Because I'm no longer packing up a box alone in the early morning light. Now I'm building something stronger, with people who actually see me. The next day feels like the world is holding its breath. Joanne finally calls, not texts. Her voice is measured, professional. But there's something brittle under the surface. She wants to meet, urgently, in person, if possible. I agree, but not today, not yet. Because today belongs to something bigger. I'm standing outside Nova Transit's glass front headquarters, watching the first trickle of my old team arrive. Trevor, Marissa, Ben, all dressed a little sharper than usual. Dana and Grace follow, clutching portfolios. Lucy and Aaron bring coffee and that same spark of nervous rebellion they had back at Orion when we launched our biggest regional account. They're not just here to talk. They're here to interview. Marcus greets each of them personally. He's not the kind of CEO who hides behind an assistant or pretends to be too busy to shake hands. As I walk them to the waiting area, he pulls me aside. "They've got fire," he said, low enough not to be overheard. "I can already see why you fought for them." "I didn't have to fight," I reply. "They chose this. All I did was leave the door open." By mid-morning, the interviews are in full swing. One by one, each of them is pulled into side rooms with senior leadership. I see nerves, yes, but I also see resolve. These aren't people fleeing something toxic anymore. They're running towards something better. And that changes everything. Meanwhile, over at Orion Freight, things are unraveling fast. My phone buzzes constantly with updates from friends who are still hanging on inside the crumbling ship. Lucy texts me during a break. "Scott's lost it. He's threatening to reassign people unless they step up. Nobody knows where the Salinger logistics files are. It's chaos." Then Grace. "He tried to access your shared drive. It said your permissions haven't been transferred." And Trevor, succinct as always. "We are watching this company implode in slow motion." I don't smile, but I don't feel sorry either. Because this isn't about revenge. It's about consequence. The kind that comes when leadership stops leading and starts controlling. When human beings are reduced to output metrics and calendar availability. Orion had forgotten that people are the company. Without us, there is no success. That evening, I finally called Joanne back. Her voice is still calm, but this time, there's a tightness around the edges. "I'd like to meet tomorrow," she said. "I think we may have acted too hastily in your case." Too hastily, I repeat. Is that what we're calling it? A pause. "I'm prepared to offer you your previous position back. with a 10% salary increase and a formal apology. The Wilson account is in danger of walking. I take a long breath, staring out at the Boise skyline from my apartment window. I appreciate the offer, Joanne, I truly do, but I've already accepted another position. I understand, she said slowly. Would it help if we matched their offer, plus 15%? It's not about the money. Then what would it take? And there it is, the desperation. Not from someone trying to do damage control, from someone watching the very foundation of their success collapse beneath them. I don't think there's anything that would make me come back, I say gently. I didn't leave because of the money. I left because I was treated like I didn't matter. And I can't lead in a place where that kind of culture is tolerated. Another long silence. I see, she said finally. Well, I wish you luck, Rachel. Thank you, I say, meaning it. I really do hope Orion finds a way to fix what's broken. But as I hang up, I know the truth. That kind of rot doesn't start with policies. It starts with people who believe they're untouchable. And it ends when those same people find themselves alone in a boardroom, wondering where all the talent went. The next morning, Marcus calls me into his office. They're impressive, he said, referring to my old team. We're moving forward with offers, all 7. I nod, not surprised. They've always been remarkable. They just needed someone to see it. He gives me a long, thoughtful look. I hope you realize what you've done, Rachel. Not many leaders inspire this kind of loyalty. I look away, swallowing the knot in my throat. I didn't do anything special. I just treated them like people, like equals. That, Marcus said, is more special than you think. Later that afternoon, we all meet for dinner. It's the first time in weeks we're in the same room with no tension, no fear, no uncertainty. Just laughter, relief, a sense of forward motion. Trevor raises his glass again, to new beginnings. And to Rachel, Marissa adds, for showing us what leadership actually looks like. I blink fast to keep my vision clear. Because this is the win I never asked for, but always needed. 3 days later, the offer letters are signed, sealed, and celebrated. All 7 of them, Trevor, Marissa, Ben, Lucy, Dana, Grace, and Aaron, formally resigned from Orion Freight Systems within the same hour. I'm not there to see it, but I don't have to be. The text messages come in rapid fire, like fireworks going off in sequence. Handed in my letter, Scott didn't even look me in the eye. Joanne just went pale. She didn't see this coming. Ben just dropped his on the HR desk like a mic. We're out, Rachel, all of us. 7 resignations. 1 team. Orion's top-performing division, gutted in a single afternoon. And I don't feel smug. I don't gloat. What I feel is clarity. Not about revenge, but about value. We weren't cogs. We were the engine. And when the engine left, the whole machine started choking. Later that day, I get a phone call. It's from Joanne. Her tone is colder this time, clipped, formal. Rachel, she begins, I've just received 7 resignation letters, all from your former team, all effective immediately. There's a pause. Then, care to explain? I don't rush to fill the silence. I let it breathe. Finally, I answer, my voice calm. I'm not sure what explanation you're looking for, Joanne. I don't work at Orion anymore. Their career choices aren't my business. She's quiet, but I can hear the gears turning. You started at Nova this week. All of them are going there. This doesn't look coincidental. People make choices for all kinds of reasons, I reply. Maybe ask Scott why your best team decided they were safer somewhere else. The silence on the other end is heavy, not furious, just lost. This is highly irregular, she said finally. I'm aware. Rachel, she continues, dropping the corporate mask for a moment. We're in crisis. The Wilson account has gone dark. The Salinger proposal's still missing. We need your help. I'm sorry. We're prepared to offer you a significant counter-package. We'll match Nova's salary plus 20%. We'll revise your non-compete and publicly acknowledge the mistake. I close my eyes, letting the offer linger in the air like perfume from an old life. It's not about the salary, I say again. It never was. Then what is it? I think of the cardboard box, of the cold email, of the look in Scott's eyes when he realized I wasn't going to fight. It's about dignity, I tell her. and leadership, and what it said about a company when its people don't even feel safe grieving. Her voice drops to almost a whisper. If we could go back. But you can't, I say gently, and I wouldn't want to. After the call ends, I stare at the ceiling for a moment. My office at Nova is still half decorated. Bare walls, empty shelves, but it feels more mine than Orion ever did. Not because of the title or the view. Because of what I've brought with me. Because of who followed. The next morning, Marcus greets me in the lobby with a grin that said he's been waiting for this day. We're onboarding your former team today, he said. HR has never moved so fast. The whole building's buzzing. I hope they don't expect balloons, I joke. They don't need balloons, he said. They've got purpose. We watch as Trevor and Marissa walk through the front doors, followed by Ben and Lucy. Grace is chatting nervously with Aaron, and Dana's already flipping through a welcome packet, like she plans to rewrite the entire training manual. They're sharp, Marcus said. But more than that, they trust you. That's rare, Rachel. I nod slowly, watching them greet their new co-workers, take their badges, get escorted to their new offices. It's like watching roots replant in better soil. Trevor peeks into my office before heading to orientation. Still surreal, he admits. I half expected Scott to leap out of the break room and yell at us for using too many paper clips. I laugh. That era is over. Good, he said. I like this one better already. That night, we all meet up again, this time at Dana's apartment. The living room is packed, the coffee table loaded with takeout containers and mismatched wine glasses. Someone's brought a cake. Grace lights the candles. What are we celebrating again? Lucy asks, even though she already knows. Trevor grins. Freedom. Marissa adds, autonomy. Ben smirks. Paychecks that don't feel like hush money. And Erin, always the quiet one, raises her glass and said softly, Rachel. The room quiets. For what? I ask, genuinely confused. For showing us what happens when you stand still in the current, she said. And for reminding us we didn't have to. I blink away the sting in my eyes. They cut the cake, and we eat on the floor like college students with MBAs. Laughter bounces off the walls. The air is lighter. The future feels wide open. Friday afternoon arrives with the kind of calm that feels earned, not gifted. At Nova Transit, my calendar is finally full in the right way. Onboarding meetings, brainstorming sessions, check-ins that actually feel like collaboration instead of surveillance. By noon, all 7 of my former teammates are officially integrated. They're no longer former anything. They're mine again. But this time, it's not just about titles or departments. This time, we're building from the ground up. Trevor now heads a process optimization project that's already slashing delivery windows across 2 states. Dana's redesigning our logistics blueprint for Southern Oregon. Marissa, ever the heart of client relations, has just resecured an account that Nova had nearly lost due to poor follow-up. They're not surviving here, they're thriving. Meanwhile, the ripples continue to spread back at Orion Freight. My contacts there, those who haven't already fled, are sending me quiet updates. The Wilson account, the one Joanne begged me to return for, has officially terminated their contract. Salinger is on hold. And the Hernandez account? Gone. 20% of Orion's Pacific Northwest revenue just vanished. Scott Delaney, my former supervisor, cleaned out his office late Thursday night. Word is, it wasn't voluntary. He didn't even leave a goodbye note, just disappeared. Joanne, on the other hand, is still holding the reins, but barely. HR is scrambling. 2 new hires have already quit mid-onboarding. I wish I could say it brought me satisfaction, but it doesn't. What I feel isn't revenge, it's confirmation. Because a company isn't a logo or a mission statement. It's not press releases or quarterly buzzwords. A company is people. You don't discard your best and expect the foundation to hold. You can't fire loyalty and expect results. 3 months pass faster than I expect. In that time, Nova's Pacific Northwest branch breaks 3 internal performance records. We bring on 2 new logistics analysts, both of whom were referred by Lucy and Ben. We streamline a supply chain in Spokane that had been bleeding money for a year. We earn trust. Real trust. One afternoon, Marcus pulls me into his office after a major quarterly review meeting. "I want to show you something," he said, tapping his laptop. The screen lights up with a simple dashboard. Client retention rate, plus 124%. Logistics efficiency, 22% in cost overages. Team morale, based on internal surveys, 97% positive. "Exceptional work," Marcus said, "but I know better than to hand all the credit to you." I smile. "You're right, it belongs to the team. They've mentioned you by name in nearly every review. Did you know that?" I shake my head. He continues, "We have something rare here, Rachel, something real. You created that, not by hoarding control, but by spreading leadership." That night, I return to my office and find a surprise waiting. A small cake on the desk, a single candle in the middle, and a handwritten card. "Happy 3-month escape anniversary. We jumped ship and landed better. Your crew." I laugh softly to myself, the kind of laugh that lives in the chest. Then I light the candle, just because. That same evening, a delivery arrives at my apartment. A small package. Inside is a cactus, my cactus, the one I had wrapped in newspaper the day I left Orion. Someone must have smuggled it out, let it grow, then returned it to me like a lost artifact of a former life. It's bigger now, stronger, resilient. I place it on the windowsill next to the new one I bought when I started at Nova. The old beside the new, both alive, both thriving. A week later, I get a call. It's Melissa Blake, the HR rep from Orion. Her voice is different now, not stiff, not corporate. Personal. "Rachel," she said, "I wanted you to hear it from me first. Orion's issued a formal admission. They're offering a settlement for wrongful termination. We've attached a letter acknowledging the mishandling of your departure." I don't say anything right away. Melissa fills the silence. "I know it won't undo everything, but I pushed for this. You deserved at least that much." I thank her, genuinely. Later, I read the letter alone. It's not particularly poetic, just a cold document admitting the truth. They were wrong. I signed the settlement, not for the money, but for the closure. Because that chapter is done now, inked, signed, archived. I place the letter next to the cactus. Let them both sit in the sun. The months that follow feel less like climbing a ladder and more like growing roots. At Nova Transit, we're not just rebuilding, we're evolving. Each of my 7 teammates has flourished into something more. Trevor now runs his own division. His process improvements are being tested across all Nova branches nationwide. From quiet problem solver to full-blown strategist, he's in his element. Marissa completely revamped our client onboarding system. What used to take 10 days now takes 4. Her name's floated around industry forums as a rising star in client retention strategy, and she's finally starting to believe it. Ben? He's now the go-to guy for critical contracts. His calm demeanor used to be mistaken for passivity. Not anymore. He's earned a nickname in the finance meetings, the quiet lock. Once he signs off, no one doubts the numbers. Lucy started mentoring new hires. Dana took the lead on a company-wide compliance overhaul that reduced audit errors by 80%. Grace got invited to speak at a tech logistics conference. Aaron now manages 3 junior analysts and still keeps the spreadsheet color-coded better than anyone I've ever met. They're no longer my team. They're leaders in their own right. And I've just been promoted to Executive Vice President of Regional Strategy. I keep the title small on my email signature. No need to announce what's already understood. It's not about the title, it's about the impact. On the 1-year anniversary of my firing, I take the day off. Not because I need a break, but because I need space. I drive out to the river, the same one where my dad taught me to stand still and steady in the rushing current. I bring a thermos of coffee, the cactus, now twice the size it was, and the letter from Orion acknowledging they were wrong. I sit on a flat rock and listen to the water. It hasn't changed. Same current, same hum, same glint of sun through trees. I whisper, "You were right, Dad. Sometimes you've got to let the river do what it does, and just be the rock." I stay a while, soaking in the silence, the movement, the memory. Then I pack up and head home, lighter than when I arrived. 2 weeks later, I'm asked to speak at a leadership panel hosted by Nova Transit. The topic? Retention through respect. I almost laugh when I see the flyer. But I go, and I speak, and I tell them everything. Not about Orion by name, but about what happens when companies prioritize deadlines over dignity. When loyalty is expected but never returned. When people are punished for being human. And I talk about what we built instead. I watch young managers in the audience scribble notes. I see a few heads nod, a few faces fall. And I realize this story isn't just mine anymore, it's a roadmap. One afternoon, I get an unexpected message from Joanne. It's not a request or a complaint. It's an invitation. Lunch, neutral ground, no agenda. I almost delete it. But I don't. I meet her at a quiet cafe near downtown. She looks different, less polished, more tired, but also more real. The stress lines around her mouth have softened. Her posture is less rigid. She doesn't start with an apology. Instead, she starts with, "Thank you for coming." I nod, curious to see why I was invited. "I wanted to say something," she begins. "Something I didn't know how to say a year ago." I raise an eyebrow. "I'm sorry." I wait. "For how you were treated," she continues. "For how the culture we created allowed it. For how long it took me to understand what real leadership actually is." Her voice doesn't shake. She's not emotional. She's just honest. "After you left, the board brought in consultants. They ripped us apart, in a good way. They showed us what we had done, not just to you, but to a lot of people." I sip my coffee. I never wanted to be the wake-up call. "I know, but you were. And because of that, I've started working with other companies now, helping them not do what we did. I thought you deserved to know." I nod, unsure what to say. Then she asks the question I sense has been on her mind from the start. Was it worth it, walking away quietly, not fighting? I take a breath and think about it. About Nova, about my team, about the cactus, the river, the steady rhythm of something better. "It was worth it," I say softly, because I didn't just walk away, I walked toward something. She nods. I get that now. We part ways with a handshake, not as friends, not as enemies, just as two people who were in the same storm, but who finally understood different parts of the map. A week later, I receive a photo from Grace. It's of a new team onboarding at Nova. Young, nervous, excited. Underneath it, she writes, "Feels like we've come full circle. Just wanted you to know, you started something that hasn't stopped growing." And in that moment, I realize my revenge never needed to be loud. It didn't come in lawsuits or viral posts or angry emails. It came in growth, in choosing better, in planting something real, something that could outlast everything that tried to bury it. 3 months after that conversation with Joanne, I get a calendar invite from Marcus with a simple subject line. Quarterly strategic planning, full team review. Nothing unusual about it, except this time, the invite includes every single person who followed me from Orion, and every one of them now holds a managerial title. It's surreal walking into the main conference room and seeing what we've built, not just in terms of numbers, but in people. Marissa walks in confidently, laptop under one arm, already reviewing figures. She gives me a playful nod. I brought cookies, bribery for when we get to my slide deck. Trevor arrives with Grace, both deep in conversation about a new tracking protocol they've been testing. Dana's chatting logistics with Ben near the window. Aaron and Lucy are at the whiteboard already outlining a regional network model like they've been running the place for years. Because in a way, they have. The meeting begins. Marcus kicks it off with a smile and then hands the floor to me. "Rachel's team," he said, "has redefined what retention and execution look like in this industry. I won't take credit for that. It was built long before Nova. But I will say this. It's a blueprint we're now applying company-wide." I lead the discussion, but I speak less than I listen. That's how we do things here now. Everyone contributes. Everyone is heard. We present new strategies, report improved metrics, and share how Nova has now officially overtaken Orion in regional freight efficiency, by a margin wide enough to make the headlines in 2 trade publications. At the end of the session, Marcus asks everyone to name one thing they've learned this quarter. Aaron, that psychological safety drives innovation. Trevor, that clarity matters more than control. Lucy, that leadership doesn't mean loud, it means consistent. When it's my turn, I say this. That doing the right thing, even when it costs you, has a ripple effect you can't predict, and it's always worth it. The room is quiet for a second. Then Marcus claps. The rest follow. It's not applause for a performance. It's gratitude, mutual respect, and maybe even a little bit of healing. That evening, we all meet up at the same old booth at Riverside Brewing. It's tradition now. But tonight, it's more than that. Because we're not celebrating escaping something anymore. We're celebrating building something. Marissa brings out a little cake again. This time it said, Year 1 and thriving. Did you have to put sprinkles on it? Ben asks, already pulling out his phone to take a picture. They're celebratory, she said, as if that explains everything. Trevor raises a glass. To Rachel for showing us what real leadership looks like. I shake my head. To all of you for stepping up, not just once, but every single day since. Grace leans forward, serious now. You could have sued, Rachel. You had every right. Why didn't you? I think about it. I didn't want to spend my energy proving them wrong, I say. I wanted to spend it becoming something better. Lucy nods slowly. Well, mission accomplished. We toast. Not to revenge. To resolution. A few days later, a new article drops in an industry newsletter. Nova Transit's secret weapon, the human-centered division model. They use our team photo, the one Marcus took last month at the community service project we helped lead in Spokane. The article talks about how our branch outperformed every regional office, how employee retention rates hit 98%, and how client satisfaction had never been higher. But what sticks with me most is one quote, pulled directly from Marissa. We didn't come here to make noise. We came here to work with people who treated us like people. And that, more than the title, the salary, or the accolades, is what makes this feel like victory. The next time I visit the river, it's spring. The banks are green, the water moves faster now, swollen with snowmelt and early storms. But the rocks? Still there, unshaken. I bring a small notebook, not for journaling, just to sit with the quiet. The sun glints off the surface like it's winking at me. I pull the cactus out of my bag. It's almost too big to carry now, but I like the symbolism. I whisper, more to myself than anything. You've outgrown your box, haven't you? It sits beside me, defiant and alive. Just like me. 1 year, 3 promotions, and more victories than I can count. Yet there's one moment that catches me completely off guard. It's a Wednesday morning when Barbara Blake, the former HR rep at Orion, calls me. I haven't heard from her since she handed me that exit folder. Her voice is calm, warm even. I wanted to thank you, she begins. You probably don't realize it, but your case changed everything at Orion. I stay silent, letting her talk. After you left, they didn't just lose clients. They lost credibility. The board stepped in. Consultants came through. Culture audits. Leadership reshuffles. It was ugly, but it was necessary. I nod, though she can't see it. I left Orion a few months ago, she continues. Now I'm part of an independent HR advisory group. We help companies build better from the inside out. Honestly, you inspired that. It takes a second to register what she's really saying. You turned the worst moment of your professional life into a catalyst, she said gently. A quiet one, but it echoed further than you think. We chat for a few more minutes, and when the call ends, I sit there, staring out the office window. Somewhere out there, someone's still checking their inbox, still wondering if they're next. And someone else, someone like the old me, is carefully wrapping up their cactus plant, wondering if they're making a mistake by walking away. If you're that person, you're not wrong for choosing peace, you're not weak for demanding respect, and you're certainly not foolish for leaving a place that no longer sees you. The following week, Nova hosts a celebration, a full-year reflection. Not just our team, the team, shows up, but company execs, partner firms, even a few clients. Trevor gives a speech. So does Marcus. Grace puts together a slideshow full of photos from the past 12 months. Our onboarding, the Spokane initiative, late-night brainstorming sessions, our terrible attempts at karaoke during team night. But when the lights dim, Marcus takes the mic one last time. "There's one person in this room," he said, "who never asked to be the center of attention, who didn't fight for recognition, but built something so strong, so unshakable, that recognition had no choice but to follow." He turns to me. "Rachel Morgan, thank you for being the kind of leader people don't just follow, they believe in." The applause is thunderous, but I don't cry. I smile, steady, rock-like. A few days later, as I'm leaving the office, I find a note tucked in my desk drawer. It's from Aaron. "Every day I come to work and feel safe. I've never had that before. You made that possible. Thank you for choosing better, so we could too." I fold the note and slide it into the small leather notebook I keep in my bag, the same one I took to the river. That night, I open it again and write something new on the last page. Revenge is rarely loud. Sometimes it's just living better, fuller, and helping others do the same. 1 year later, to the day, I visit the river again. The cactus has outgrown even the larger pot now. It sits at home in a real planter, thriving in the corner of my sunlit office, still with the tiny Santa hat my team gave it 3 Christmases ago. I don't bring the cactus this time. I bring nothing, just myself. And I sit by the water, remembering everything that has changed and what never did. The current rushes, stronger now, a spring swell, but I don't move. I just breathe. Then I speak softly. "You were right, Dad. You don't always have to swim upstream. Sometimes you let the current do what it does and stay steady." Because I stayed steady, my life changed. I didn't destroy Orion Freight Systems. They did that themselves. All I did was plant something stronger and tend to it with care and watch it grow until it had roots that no panic-driven meeting could rip up. My revenge wasn't fire. It was foundation. To Scott Delaney, "You didn't just fire an employee. You lit a fuse you didn't understand. I hope you find whatever growth comes from humility." To Joanne, "I know you tried eventually. I saw your regret. I hope you carry that lesson forward." And to my team, my friends, my chosen family, thank you for walking away, for standing beside me, for believing in a future we couldn't see yet. And to you, yes, you watching this, have you ever been betrayed by someone who claimed to value you? Did you stay silent? Did you fight? Or did you quietly walk away and build something better? How did you handle it? Tell me in the comments. Your story matters. And if this one resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe. Not just because it helps me, but because it reminds the algorithm that setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's necessary. Wherever you are, whatever current you're facing, stay steady. Stay grounded. And remember, you deserve better.